Saw her vehicle and pick up medicine. Gonna be.
I wasn't here last night. Is it? That's what I said.
I think I had your name penciled in as.
No, I wasn't here. That's okay. But my question is, attorney present none, and then down here.
Yeah, he was present.
Okay, I'm gonna keep
He was
talking about
present. He was present on the 18th.
Okay.
Kelly, yeah, Kelly was here. We'll have that.
I wasn't here, so I don't
He said the video's supposed to be working.
Susie's coming at 6:32. I bet. It's coming at 6:30.
What did I just tell you?
Well, yeah, I did the notice Andy's house. It says.
That's a fair bet. I'm not taking that bet. Maybe 6:40, but time it kind of spot the fire. All right.
Wow.
Good evening. It is 6 p.m. Monday, October 14th, 2024. I'm Mayor Chris Martin, calling to order the regular session of Logansphere Common Council. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. BJ Cox. Present. Chris Howard.
President.
Cameron Austin.
Present.
Haley Zimsmaster.
Present.
Scott Peedy. Susie Walmsley.
Present.
Dave Morris.
Absent. Oh, no. Sorry about that.
All right, we'll start with the approval of minutes for the regular session, September 18th, 2024 meeting.
I was thinking that David, I have a question. It says attorney present none, but in the notes it talks about Kelly.
Kelly was here.
Yeah, he was here.
I have a motion to approve the minutes with the change.
I'll make a motion.
Further discussion? Call for question. Dave Morris.
Yes.
Susie Walmsley.
Yes.
Scott Peedy. Haley Zimsmaster.
Abstain.
Cameron Austin.
Yes.
Chris Howard.
Yes.
BJ Cox.
Yes.
All right, reports from committees, boards, and commissions.
Finance Committee met 3 times since the last council meeting. We met on September 30th, October 7th, and October 10th. The bulk of our discussion was on items pertaining to the budget, a lot of which is in tonight's budget. Thank you.
Any other reports from committees, boards, and commissions? All right, seeing none, we'll start with old business. Ordinance 2024-22, Councilman Howard.
Ordinance 2024-22, ordinance for appropriation for tax rates. This will be a second reading. I ask a vote on ordinance 2024-22, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Call for question. BJ Cox,
Yes.
Chris Howard,
Yes.
Cameron Austin,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Susie Wamsley,
Yes.
Dave Morris.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-22 passes on its second reading. Ordinance 2024-23, Councilwoman Wamsley.
Ordinance 2024-23, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana for additional appropriation of auction proceeds to various city departments, second reading. I move for a vote on ordinance 2024-23.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question. Dave Morris,
Yes.
Chris Howard,
Yes.
Susie Wamsley,
Yes.
Cameron Austin,
Yes.
BJ Cox,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-23 passes on its second reading. Ordinance 2024-24, Councilman Cox.
Ordinance 2024-24, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, establishing a new fund for a new clubhouse for Dykeman Municipal Golf Course. Second reading. Mr. Mayor, I ask for a vote on ordinance 2024-24.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Bob, did you want to have any discussion on this? Bob, you were asking me about this earlier. This is one for the clubhouse financing. Did you have any specific questions you wanted to ask on that?
I guess I will. Bob Bishop, Logansport. The only question I had for you right then was how this is being financed, because last I heard it was over 2 years, something about 2 payments. And so are you bonding that?
What we have done is, yes, we had to get a bond, and we tried to set the bond up to reflect the commitments at Dykeman Park. The council pledged $1,000 or $1 million as a kickoff over 5 years out of seeded.
That's what I saw at first.
Yes, and then the obligation they had to get that money was that they had to raise the additional funds of $2.5 million, which they have done. They've actually got just a
Right.
little bit more than that.
That was great.
So what they've done now, Bob, is that we've tried to reflect in the supporting bond is set up to where as the money comes in, we can pay for the bond, but we have to have the money sooner in order to pay the
Money comes
contractors
in, where did you say?
from the pledges.
Oh,
Through the money will come in through the foundation, come into a separate fund in the city, so that we have the money on hand then to make the payments to the bond.
So how long-
They're semi-annual. It can go out to the end of the pledges approximately 5 years, but there's a clause in there that if we have the money sooner, we can pay it off after a year at any time.
oh, that's good, yeah.
So that's kind of how that's set up.
Okay, so basically it's a 5-year obligation.
Yeah,
And that's a couple $100,000 a year the council has to budget for.
yeah.
And you budget for that this year?
Yes, we've given our first contribution, and 25 will be the second year for that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any further discussion? Call for question. Susie Wamsley,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Cameron Austin,
Yes.
BJ Cox,
Yes.
Chris Howard,
Yes.
Dave Morris.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-24 passes on its second reading. On to new business, ordinance 2024-25, Councilman Morris.
Appropriation ordinance of the City of Logansport, Indiana, general obligation bond. This is the first reading. Have you got, Andy,
I'll pull up in just a second.
specific questions on this? Andy will be here to answer those for us. Unfortunately, he's trying to be in about 3 places this evening, so we're doing him through a Zoom. Andy Mauser's with Baker Tilly.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Andy, you want to just kind of give us a brief overview of the general obligation bond again so that anyone in attendance might be able to hear?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. And then I think on your agenda this evening, you would have um, the bond ordinance and then appropriation ordinance. So those would be the two approvals that would have to be completed by the council prior to issuance of the bonds later this year. So you would have, potentially, and then they could be adopted at your meeting in November. Bond that is the result of an opportunity the city has due to growth in your tax base. So as your tax base and that gets
Council have any additional questions for Andy? In public?
I'm sorry I arrived a little late and there are no agendas at the table. What are the expenditures that all this money is going towards?
Okay,
I didn't say my name.
we have,
Sonny Miller.
I recognize you. Thank you. In here, it does lay out some objectives of the bond. The bond is set up to where we have up to 3 years to use it. We don't have to use it in budget year 25. Let me find the page that's on for you.
Dave, I'm going to have Tyler put it up on the screen.
Oh, there you go. He's going to put it up on the screen for us. Some of the hope is that, we've been doing different things in the parks, and we do a little bit here, a little bit there. The hope was to kind of speed up some of the progress in the parks and get them completely finished to where the public would have something really nice to go and enjoy, rather than be continually working on the parks that we have. So.
Dave, as you know, I personally like the wild parks, that it's going to be destroyed by crowding the oldest and most crowded neighborhood in Logansport if Patriot Park is sold and the plan goes through to develop that. Crowding of the parking on all those adjacent streets will be more difficult because there'll be a lot of new driveways. The kids lose the green space for playing in. They play together so harmoniously. It's wonderful to see. Green space makes a great park, and if Logansport had a long-term vision for the real quality of life here, maintaining wild spaces in the interior of the city, a block from the courthouse, would be an amazing opportunity. So I hope none of this money will go toward developing Patriot Park. We need wild spaces.
No, and it is not. As you can see up there, park improvements. Spencer Park is due for, playgrounds are only good for so long, and then they start having issues, and you have certain state standards that you have to meet. So the large playground at Spencer Park is targeted in there. The roads need paving. They need a new storage building at Spencer Park for the Christmas in the Park decorations and things. So that's part of the thought there. We're looking at a cemetery improvement project up there around where they have the Veterans Day, Memorial Day, where we go from space to space and then end up at the Civil War Monument and that. So there's looking at that. As you know, we have some road and street projects where we can use this money directly with some of our own to get the community crossing grants. They've increased those matches to up to a certain amount, although we are holding off a lot on the roads because the utilities got another grant to continue the lead line replacement program where it doesn't cost the homeowner anything to have their water lines replaced into their house. So if you've got issues with your lead lines, you need to contact the utilities and get on their list to have those replaced. Just acquisition of vehicles, we're always needing vehicles updated. So those are just a few of the things there that we're targeting to do with some of this money. Any other questions? Yeah?
I think all those, Bob Bishop again. I think all those projects that's all fine and dandy, but I don't get the emergency here. You have to borrow money to do that. And pay interest, and then you have to pay for the bonding, which is what, 10% or something?
Yeah, there's a fee to that.
See, I just don't see what the emergency is. Why can't you just budget for these things?
Well, we've been doing that for quite a while,
So
Bob, but
why do you have to put this on a credit card to have these things?
well, the thought was that we were in the hopes of getting some things actually
You want
done.
it now. That's the way we live now, isn't it?
Well, you know, there's a balance in things, and part of the and I can't really explain it to you real well, but part of what will happen here as we lose the money in our tax rate, it ends up going to the schools or the county, or we're just trying to maintain the tax rate that we have so that we can continue to do the improvements we've been working on for the last few years.
That's great. I just, we need to borrow. Oh, this is not. I think that's great, but I just don't see why we need to bond for this. It just doesn't seem like emergent. We're creating a lot of bonds. In this city, but in 2012, we had, the Ivy Tech bond was the only one we had. We were going to pay that off in 2017, so Logansport would be debt-free. Now, they extended that, council, and
No, there was no extension to it.
that was extended in Kitchell's. I was here.
It was reissued, and we got a much lower rate, but
Right, but
it was not extended.
Okay.
Not a bit, no.
All right,
It's-
well, it wasn't paid off anyway. So now, but now, I look at that was minor compared to what we seem to be developing. And then, you know, this isn't the utility board, but, you know, the utilities supposedly, according to their superintendent, has over $100 million worth of debt obligation. And that doesn't count interest, I guess. So it seems to me like this city's going into an awful lot of debt that I don't think we can pay.
Well, I don't know, I don't want to speak for the utilities, Bob, but I know.
I know, that's why I wanted to bring it up, but it's a lot of debt that the
Is it?
city will have to pay it.
Yeah, all I can say is I feel like we've been quite responsible with the taxpayers' money in the city of Logansport. I think some of the improvements around town show that, and
Okay.
Any further discussion? Yes.
Hi, I'm Candace Espinoza.
What's your name again, dear?
Candace Espinoza.
Thank you.
I live here, work here, my business is here. I agree with some of these things, I do. Honestly, the parks, I get we have kids, we need to fix that. The roads, that is the only thing I can truly complain about. My road alone almost breaks my car every time I drive on it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with spending certain things for our town, but our roads, we need that.
Yeah.
We have to drive, we have to get around. Our parks, great, but our roads.
Right.
Like, we have potholes everywhere. I almost had my tire ripped off just a couple weeks ago because we hit a giant hole.
Go
So-
north side, Candace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, over on Columbia Street.
Yeah, I know where you live. It's
Yes,
an old
yeah.
occupational hazard, but you know, Candace, the thing is, and you're right, but the issue that we have is, you know, the lead line issue is a serious issue for our community. It's another way for us to create a healthier environment for our children by getting rid of the lead lines, replacing them. The problem that we ran into is, and I believe they passed some legislature, when they first came out with the program, you had to volunteer. Well, if you didn't volunteer, here's what happened is they hit the first house in the block, the fifth house in the block, go up to the next block. So now I believe they've come up with a methodology where they can literally contact you, and if they know that you have lead lines, they can put, now we can more or less go up the street, so when we're done with the street, then we can pave it and not know that we're gonna pave it and have it torn back up.
And with this
It's kind of a long, you know, it was kind of a losing battle the last year and a half, 2 years doing this.
Yep.
And the other part was they were going back and filling in the patches and stuff after they got
Yep.
a bunch of them done. Now, with the new contract that has just been agreed to, they will be filling them in as they go, at least on a temporary basis, and then go back and do it properly when they're done. But I won't argue with it, the streets stink right now, but the reason they are in bad shape is because of the benefit that the community's getting.
Right.
If this wasn't being done for you at free, I think the estimated cost is $5,000 or $6,000 to the homeowner. But through these grants from the federal government, you're getting it done for nothing. And if you haven't had it done, you got lead pipes, get on the list. It truly is a benefit to you.
And I actually understand that. I actually had to replace my lines completely by myself at my studio, and it was about $7,000 with us doing our own work.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I do. But do we need to do some of these things right now? Can we put more money towards getting these other projects that are more important on the table now and getting them situated?
Like the roads, is that what you're saying?
What, honey?
Prioritize the roads?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Well, getting it more up on the list, yes, but getting all the others, like, obviously the lead lines are very important. My kids, I don't want them drinking from lead lines. My yard is full of lead right now. They're fixing up the town.
Right, you're in that area over there around the old, yeah, and that's,
Getting ready to get it digged up, so.
are you? You on the list?
Yep, we're on the list.
Good to hear, because I went out and walked with the people from EPA on that, and it was hard to convince people to have that done.
No, I want it done. Do you know how many
So-
people have died of cancer in just that neighborhood from the lead lines and the lead in the ground? So I agree, those things are very important. But some of the things on the list, can they be put towards the bottom and put those
Well,
things?
there's no priority, but what we have to do is we have to have a list to ask for the funding.
Okay, that's what I
We've
want.
done that, and we'll do the best that we can, and if you have some specific suggestions, we're open.
Sounds good. I just wanted to know if there was a way you guys were doing it. I agree with things having to get done. Like, you can't go through town and not almost break your tire off. So
Yeah.
the roads need to be done and the lead needs to be out of here. I
Yeah,
want the town to be healthy too. So I agree.
yeah.
So Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other comments? Call for question?
Hi, Angela Cree. I would just like to go on what she was saying with the roads. This isn't a year and a half, 2-year issue with these roads in Logansport. It has always been an issue. And our entrances, 18th Street in particular, constantly has bags of trash, litter, debris. People are coming into our town from there. You come up there to Bishop Park, and I've called several times on it because the weeds are literally this high around the signs that say Bishop Park, Tower Park as well. They don't weed eat, the weeds are growing out, and it seems like a lot of detail with some of those things is just being lost, especially entrances to our town. And the roads, they've always been an issue. You know, it's kind of you hear about it from people who don't even live here. But I think, it gives off an impression when people come, especially when they enter, on your way into a town. So, thank you.
Thank you. Call for question?
I don't know if we got a second.
Did we get a second?
I know Dave read it, but I don't know if we got a second or not.
Oh, you want to come?
I don't know.
Alex Smith, could you guys elaborate on the fire department training facility?
There's talk of putting a possible fire department training facility out if we were to get the Exide property cleaned up, which we Jacob Pomasol worked on a grant and actually got $3 million to clean up Exide over there. And it's kind of that whole project is being done in conjunction with the EPA and what you just heard about the yards being tested and cleaned up over in that area. And the thought was that we could create, the state had been looking for regional training facilities for fire departments. So the thought was that we could look into putting one on a piece of that property once we had the proper cleanup done over there.
No, you said these are not listed in a certain rank by you guys'.
No, they're not in any particular order. They're just some of the things that we've talked about needing to get done. And
Do you plan on prioritizing them?
at some point, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Question, since Scott just walked in, is he in on this one, or do I wait till the next? You want to wait till the next ordinance, or you want to go in on this one? This is the bond one.
Number?
This is
New business.
2024.
I apologize for being late. I was hung up. Couldn't help being late. I'll wait till the next one, please.
Susie Wormsley,
Yes.
BJ Cox,
Yes.
Chris Howard,
Yes.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Cameron Austin.
Ordinance 2024-25 passes on its first reading. Ordinance 2024-26, Councilwoman Zinsmaster.
Ordinance 2024-26, an ordinance of the City of Logansport, Indiana, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds for the purpose of providing funds to pay the cost of local municipal public improvement projects within the city, providing for the payment of such bonds from ad valorem taxes to be levied upon all of the taxable property located in the city, providing for the safeguard of the interests of the owners of said bonds, other matters connected therewith, including the issuance of notes in anticipation of bonds, and repealing ordinances inconsistent herewith. I would ask for a vote on ordinance 2024-26.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call for question?
Dave Morris, Cameron Austin,
Yes.
Susie Wormsley,
Yes.
Scott Petey. Yes. BJ Cox,
Yes.
Chris Howard,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster.
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-26 passes on its first reading. Resolution 2024-141, Councilman Petey. Oh, is Andy still there?
If he's still.
He's there. And if you're still there, you're free to go. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. Resolution 2024-141, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, transferring appropriations for the Parks Department. Mr. Mayor, I ask for a vote on resolution 2024-141, please.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call for question. Haley Zensmaster,
Yes.
BJ Cox,
Yes.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Scott Petey,
Yes.
Chris Howard,
Yes.
Susie Wamsley,
Yes.
Cameron Austin.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-141 passes. Resolution 2024-142, Councilman Austin.
Resolution 2024-142, resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, transferring appropriations for the cemetery. Mr. Mayor, I ask for a vote on Resolution 2024-142.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call for question. Haley Zensmaster,
Yes.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Cameron Austin,
Yes.
Susie Wamsley,
Yes.
Scott Petey,
Yes.
BJ Cox, Chris Howard.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-142 passes. Resolution 2024-143, Councilman Cox.
Resolution 2024-143, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, transferring appropriations for the 911 dispatch. Mr. Mayor, I ask for a vote on Resolution 2024-143.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call for question. Chris Howard,
Yes.
Haley Zensmaster,
Yes.
BJ Cox,
Yes.
Scott Petey,
Yes.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
Cameron Austin,
Yes.
Susie Wamsley.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-143 passes. Resolution 2024-144, Councilwoman Wamsley.
Resolution 2024-144, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, authorizing the expenditure of non-reverting infrastructure funds for the survey of the roads in Walnut Ridge condominiums. I move for a vote on Resolution 2024-144.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call
Just
for question.
wanted to make one thing clear on that. It says in there it's to survey those roads, and it's actually just to write up the legal description of the right-of-ways and the easements out there.
Question. Cameron Austin,
Yes.
Susie Wamsley,
Yes.
Haley Zensmaster,
Yes.
Dave Morris,
Yes.
BJ Cox,
Yes.
Scott Petey,
Yes.
Chris Howard.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-144 passes. Ordinance 2024-27, Councilman Morris.
Ordinance 2024-27, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, fixing the annual salaries of elected officials of the City of Logansport, Indiana for the period beginning January 1, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025. Make a motion to approve.
Any further discussion? Call for question. Oh, wait, I didn't get a second, yeah. Anybody second? Does anybody want a second?
Second.
Thank you, Susie. Call for question. Dave Morris? Susie Wamsley?
Yes.
Cameron Austin?
No.
Scott Petey?
No.
Haley Zensmaster?
Yes.
BJ Cox?
Yes.
Chris Howard.
No.
Ordinance 2024-27 passes 4-3. Ordinance 2024-28, Councilman Cox.
Ordinance 2024-28, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Logansport, Indiana, fixing salaries for appointed officials and employees of the City of Logansport, Indiana for the year 2025. Mr. Mayor, I ask for a vote on ordinance 24-28.
Any further discussion?
Straight up so we can see that.
There you go. Any further discussion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Call for question. Dave Morris?
Yes.
Haley Zensmaster?
Yes.
BJ Cox?
Yes.
Susie Wamsley,
Yes.
Scott Feedy,
Yes.
Chris Howard,
Yes.
Cameron Austin.
Yes. Ordinance 2024-28 passes. Public comments. Anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for us, please. Okay. I'm like, room full, no one wants to talk.
Just got in under the gun, Dave.
Dave Price, 220 Cotswold Court, Logansport. I was not going to speak tonight. I want to apologize to my mom. She's probably watching. So anyway, I have a lot of concerns for Logansport, but I want to thank Chris, Cam, and Scott for voting no on an issue. I think that's the first time I've heard no. So you guys deserve a round of applause. I think there's a lot of things that I've watched the videos of the city council meetings over the last 4 years, and I don't hear the word no very often. And I think it's a good word to use. You don't have to vote yes all the time on everything. I mean, this is America, and it's good to use the word no once in a while. So I just want to commend you guys on that. I do have some notes prepared.
You weren't going to talk.
I wasn't. I really wasn't going to talk. I didn't want to talk. I just want to start off by saying I love Logansport. I've always loved Logansport. Everyone behind me loves Logansport. We wouldn't be here tonight if we didn't love Logansport. I've served on the BZA for 10 or 12 years now. I've loved every minute of that. It's my chance to give back to the community, but that's not what I'm here to talk about tonight. There are just a lot of concerns in the community right now. As everyone knows, it's no surprise. We've made national news recently. It's not a good thing to do that. That's not a good thing to be proud of. It's not the Logansport that I grew up in, okay? There's a lot of things going on in the community. I've heard so many stories this last 30 days that it's really sickening, and really disheartening to hear some of these stories. And I know they're real. They're coming from real people. It's happening in Logansport. I just want to make sure that we are upholding the law here to all citizens across the board. I hope that we're not giving grace to a certain segment of the population. If you look at the arrest logs, I've looked at them, it's quite eye-opening to see that. From all these horror stories that I've heard, no laws have been broken, and it's just amazing to me to see that. I just want to make sure that everyone's being treated equally. We're here in this community. We want it to be a great community. We don't want people to be scared to live here. We want people to come to Logansport to build their business. We don't want people to leave this community. I'm not moving, and I hope nobody else moves. We are strong together, and we're a great community. I'm proud to be a part of it, and that's all I really have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dave Kitchell, 1423 North Street. I think a couple of the issues that maybe Dave is referring to are the cultural situations in the community. And when we had a Republican mayor back in the late 1990s in Dick Hettinger, we had influx of people from Iowa, and Texas, and everywhere else. And there was a lot of racial tension about that and recruiting people from outside of Indiana, right outside the community. There were rumors about pets being eaten, and I've heard those again lately in Ohio. They didn't turn out to be true, but we took a different approach. And we took the cultural concerns, and through United Way and the deputy mayor's office, we created diversity and dynamics. And we worked with the hospital and law enforcement and the fire department and the ambulance service and the schools and social service agencies to do what we could to make that transition, that steep curve, work for Logansport. And it did. But you know that there's a wake-up call when the mayor's office gets a call, as Dick Hettinger did, and it's the Washington Post at the other end of the line and says, is it true your Hispanic population is up 20%? Well, yeah, it is. But he didn't swallow hard. He got going. He did it. But the fact of the matter is that the buck stops here. It doesn't stop with the federal government. You don't pass it to the federal government or the state government. It's us. We have to deal with it. Democrat, Republican, East End, West Side, South Side, we have to deal with that problem. And there has to be something created on an ad hoc basis, at least, to deal with that. You know, we're doing a lot to do legal citizenship through the bridge and all that, but you need to say the buck stops here with this group, with this problem right now. Now, these people, they're in town, we've danced around the issue, but they're not here because this is their first choice. They're here because this is their only hope. This is their place to feel safe. I talked to some Kokomo people who went to church with some volunteers, missionaries that went to Haiti. They were glad to get off the runway because they were coming after them as they left, and they were there to help. It's not the place to be. It's anarchy. We got a heck of a great place to live in, and it can be even better. But we're not there right now, and we're not going to be there unless some things change. And it has to change at the top. And it's time, I think, for the mayor to resign and to consider appointing. I think it's time for the realization that we need a city manager appointed that's nonpartisan, that can be hired by the council, that can report to the council, that can work with the clerk treasurer's office, that can work with public service agencies to move the community forward. We've got too many problems. We've got streets that are torn up. Yeah, that's a big problem, and it's been a big problem for a long time. And park facilities that have to be finished, and at least you're trying to get that done when you can. We don't know what the economy will bring, but we know this. At the end of the day, we've got to make Logansport a better city tomorrow than it is today. And unless we stand up now and take action, it won't happen.
Dave, question before you continue. What exactly do you expect us to do right now? A serious question, because you were a mayor, now you're saying that I should resign because I'm not doing my job? What would you do, Mr. Kitchell?
Listen, I would say this. I would say if you step down and we get a city manager, we'll get this problem settled in 6 minutes.
Might as well ignore that idea.
Then you're going to have a lot more meetings like this one, a lot more people standing up and applauding when they say you should resign, because you should.
That's the opinion of very few.
Well, it's the opinion of a lot of people in this room that just applauded.
Just this room.
And they'll find a lot more out there.
Sure. But again, my question, what would you do?
What are you going to do to tackle this problem? You haven't done anything.
We are gathering.
Being reactive to people that are holding you accountable. You're not acting to move this.
No, we are doing it. We are gathering the data from the hospital, the schools. We are meeting with the county officials. Did you know that? Did you know that we were meeting with state elected officials?
You're supposed to be transparent with people instead of shutting down your website so nobody can comment and you can't interact with them. You have to be transparent, and you're. You know, if you're really unselfish and you really do what's best for your community, you do what Joe Biden did. You step aside. But when you care about your bank account more than you care about your city and your neighbors, this is what happens. So I would encourage you to stay in Logansport, meet with your neighbors, sleep in Logansport, and pay taxes here like all these people do right back here.
Why so smug?
Yeah. You done?
Always. Smug is. It's not just this room.
You good?
It's not.
You have anything else that you would like to say?
I would begin a petition drive, and I'll have a lot of people that are willing to sign a petition calling for you to resign and for a city manager to be appointed. Thank you.
Very good. Any other public comments?
Angela Cree, you say you're tackling some of these issues. You know, people from out of town say, what's going on 19th and Broadway there. Oh, well, that's a brothel. You know, they're all over. The STDs in this town have quadrupled. These are major issues, and not just for those people and for us, but for our children and our grandchildren. You know, that's what we're looking forward to now. Our lives have kind of played out, but that is a scary situation. You know, I have granddaughters, and I'm about scared to leave them in this town anymore. So I truly hope that you are taking these extremely serious, because, you know, that's coming from another world. And we can integrate them into our community, but they can't change our lives. So, thank you.
My name is Linda Hyder. I just got a few questions for you. I keep hearing this. Is Logansport a sanctuary city?
No.
Could you say that out loud? So
No, Logansport, Indiana is not a sanctuary city.
Because everybody keeps saying that, and I know I asked you last month, and you said no. And we got in discussion about that. So now everybody on the website, everybody back here is we're not sanctuary city. I'm saying that because of Walmart, and I love going to Walmart to shop, because how I get treated by certain people, I get in at 10 a.m. and I'm out. Because how certain people treat other people at Walmart. And I've been here since 1970. My husband and I came here right out of the Navy, had nothing. I mean, nothing but a shirt on our backs. We worked 2 to 3 jobs to make it. No one give us a blanket dime. Nobody. What we got now, we earned it. And nobody is going to take it from us. So I'm just saying, we've been here, the place we live on, Smith Street, we lived there 39 years. And it's a shame that I got to go in a store and I got to worry about how I'm going to get treated by certain people. And I got to go in and out by Walmart. I went to Walmart the other day and I said, do I have everything? She goes, yes, ma'am. And I left and she was yelling, ma'am. And I said, what? Because I was looking at the clock. She said, I thought you had everything and you forgot 2 bags. It's my fault. And I said, honey, I got to get out. She goes, why? And I told her how I got intimidated twice. I'm 74 years old, but I still can carry a gun. So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like being intimidated. So once I go on, I don't care who comes to Logansport, because I came to Logansport in 1970. But you treat everybody fairly, and you treat them all the right way. Or you know what? You need to leave. Because my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren are here. And like that lady there said, my grandchildren now, I told them, I used to be in the school system. Get my kids out of the school system. They're all being homeschooled now because of the school system. It's not safe.
We're not safe.
I don't want to have to move. My husband keeps threatening me to buy a 5th wheel and move. I am not going to be stuck in no box. This is my town, and I'm not leaving. And I think you guys to do your job. Thank you.
Ma'am, excuse me. Ma'am, I have a question for you. If you'd like to come back up here and sit down, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
When you say that you have an incident in Walmart where you feel like you're intimidated, can you please tell me, what do you do about that? What's your reaction to that?
Well, I went and asked to a clerk, and she says, ma'am, don't go tell the management because they won't do anything. I almost called the police.
Okay, so what's your incident? What happened?
Okay, I went to buy a pair of house shoes. We all need house shoes in the wintertime. And now they got all the shoes. They got the men's department, they got the women's department.
Yeah.
The women's department got this fine little aisle, okay? And I walked in, and these certain people, a woman here and a man here, both same nationality, okay? I tried to get through this way, she went this way. I tried to go this way, he went that way. I thought, well, I'll go around, come back the other way. I came in, the same thing happened, and I looked at them, and they probably couldn't speak English, and I pointed at the house shoes. I said, I want to look at the house shoes. And she went like this. Now, they were like 30 years old. Like I said, I'm 74. And I told my husband, I didn't carry my gun that day. All I want to do is look at the house shoes. That's happened twice now at Walmart. So now on, I have realized if you get them before 10 o'clock, before they all get there, I'm safe. I don't like being threatened. I don't like being intimidated.
Well, if you honestly feel like you're intimidated and you're in a public situation, then what you do about that is you make a report, and Walmart has security. That's what you do. If you feel like you have a situation, and even if you're.
It's not our job, it's yours.
It's my job to make a report for her because she's looking for house slippers in Walmart.
Nothing's being done about the report.
So I'm just saying, if you have a situation and you make a report and then nothing's done about it, then you have a complaint. Right now, you don't have.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what, man, the next time that happens, I will call the police and the management, and then I'm gonna come and see you guys, when it's not in the paper within a month.
That'll be just fine.
You guys all hear that, same thing for all of you.
You have to do your due diligence before you come to complain. Yeah, you do that. Then you come see me.
I will say one more thing on that. Angela Cregan, and I have to say this because you act like you have no idea what's going on in this town. Women are being followed around Walmart daily and filmed. They don't have shopping carts, they don't have baskets, they don't have any items in their hand. They walk around with cameras and they film women. And it has been in public over and over and over again. They go to our parks and they film children.
Walk slowly and stare.
You know, you act like you're not aware of these, and you are. This is dangerous.
Every single one of us deal with the same thing. You got to see.
You gotta know.
I've never seen.
Excuse me. Hey, excuse me.
My name is Jim Brew, and I've lived in this town since 1946, and I think it's a great town, and I think that you, city council people, are to be credited for the work that you do. I think the fact that there was 3 no votes is the nature of politics. But the idea is, you know, when you come together and somebody says something and then you start getting the roll of the voices as though there's something going on and you want to say, sign me up, sign me up. That's what we do when we vote. These people are elected. If you don't like it, vote them out.
It doesn't work.
What? You can't vote them out? What?
It doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work? Oh, because the elections like are fraudulent?
Everything is.
Anybody who thinks that should go vote or become an election worker and see what it's like to actually run an election. This idea of mob blabbermouth is rinky-dink.
This
You're
is our
chicken shit.
town.
It's all our time. Belongs to all of us. Why have politicians come take notes? Why have politicians come? Why I'll take any of you one at a time.
Talk about voices, you're angry.
You betcha I'm angry.
You're criticizing it. And it's right now.
I'm looking for logic, and I thank you for your work.
Here's a question. Ladies and gentlemen, please, council member has a comment. I just want to ask, you know, I come here and I see this crowd, and I ask myself, you know, we're concerned about the way the Haitians behave in our community and the threats that they're putting upon us. And I look out here and I'm asking myself, you guys don't look like Haitians, but you're acting like them.
Shame on you! So there is a problem.
Be quiet for a minute. You guys, all I'm saying to you is this. Jody, when have I come to bat for you?
You did, but you know what? It's still the same.
But
It's still the same.
Here's the point that I'm trying to make to you. We want to sit up here and we want to hear what you have to say, but there's a constructive way to go about it. But when you come up here and one person gets excited, and I'm not saying you can't get excited, but when I start hearing clamoring from all over the room at one time, what are we supposed to take away from all this?
Pretending like you don't know. We're all you guys are all up there like, well, Walmart? What's going on? You should call the police.
If you lived in this town.
Well, hey, here's my point.
They're not making police reports. How do you do that?
Here is what I'm asking you guys. You've got the benefit of our ears right now. I want to hear what do you expect and what is it that you truly know? You got something you want to say?
Yes.
Come on up.
All right.
Come on up. Let's have
Everybody have something up there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't know.
I didn't want to hear you yet.
Pastor, if you want to, go ahead, Pastor.
Just a moment. One at a time.
Well, what I'm going to say will probably upset both sides, but the first part, though, is where we're all going to agree. I think most of the people in this room will agree. So maybe we're not a sanctuary city, which is related to the idea of protecting illegal immigrants. But that is not the only problem. What we're also talking about is an inundation by legal immigrants in small little towns getting thousands that could be possibly spread a little more thin, into a lot of other places, even if they're legal, because we're being told, I've seen the debates that it was acknowledged as there's a sort of legal way they're being given some kind of asylum or whatever, but to inundate tiny little communities overwhelms everything. The housing market, you can't even find a place. And the rent's high, and the leases are high, and the social systems are overwhelmed, and the schools are overwhelmed, and the police department is overwhelmed. And you know what? And I'm a police chaplain, and I know that the police force is not being accordingly increased. The population, 25% at least. That's what 5,000 would be, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30%. So say 25% of an increase in the population and no increase in the police force. That's not saying that those who are coming are more likely to commit crimes, but there's a certain percentage of increase in crimes whenever you have any increase of any number of people, any type of people. So you got to have some kind of addition to the police force. That's where I would spend some money on, is on the police force. Now here's the part where some people get mad at me. Because first of all, I believe you when you say it's not sanctuary city. I don't, and you guys say you're doing whatever to help these issues. I don't really know if you are or you aren't. But to be honest with you, it really upset me when I hear a former Democrat mayor telling us how terrible you are doing as the mayor when it's the Democrat Party that has run with this country. All this illegal immigration everywhere, all over the place. It's just very disingenuous to me for him to come in here and say that to you. Now, they may have other issues in here. I don't know. But who's running the country right now with millions more illegal immigrants coming in here, not to mention the Haitians? It's certainly not a Republican, to be real honest with you. So, I don't know. It just, to me, that part really stuck in my craw. But still, it doesn't change the point that we need to figure out what we're going to do with being inundated by 5,000 and who knows, maybe more. I don't know. And why did they pick Logansport? And what do we have? What do you guys have to say about? What is your say on, like, no, we don't want them here, or not that many, or this many? What's the say that you have? I know Tyson's is to blame for a lot of this, but do you guys have any? I don't expect you to answer this, but my thought is, do you guys have any authority or any power to say this many and not that many, and some kind of say over who comes or doesn't come?
No.
But otherwise, we're all for compassion, but compassion is a two-way street. That means you can be compassionate to whomever, but that doesn't mean you just forget compassion to the people who are already here, right? It's got to be both ways. Or you're going to have more of this. And by the way, I'd like to know what the Haitians act like. That's kind of don't you think that's a stereotypical thing to say?
Thank you. Oh, yes, thank you.
Getting from you guys. Yeah. And here's something. And I should have never said a word, because I really came here with the expectation that maybe we would get some good rapport from you. And
you're getting reality. You're getting reality. That's what you're getting.
You're getting honesty, brutal honesty. They're upset, right?
Go back when you used to be my mailman. You remember that?
Thank you.
Over on Scott Street?
Yeah.
Always asked you, bring my Obama check?
Any other public comments?
Well, I came back here 20 25 years ago.
Will you state your name and address for the record, sir?
My name and address?
Yes.
Robert L. Adams,
Thank you.
1417 Chicago Street. I brought my wife, my daughter, and my granddaughters back here because I thought it would be safer. Because we were living in, holy hell, Phoenix, Arizona, 30 years. You want to know about immigration? I know about that. I worked with them every day for 15, 20 years. Hablo español poquito. That's about it. Now, the rest of it was body language, you know? But I know some are good. Hey, some of them are nice guy. All of them. But then again, like I told my wife, oh yes, and my wife is a beaner too. She's Mexican. Don't speak no Mexican, but she's Mexican. And she's here because she wants to be here because we thought of one thing. Well, let's be safe there. Now, my daughter says, Dad, we made a mistake. Yeah. Now I've got great-granddaughters here. And I thought, well, I come back here, it'd be nice, you know. But it's not. And the thing that bothers me the most is, you're making it worse. You're a Republican? Republicans got say-so, don't they? Democrats say so. You bring them in. You can say no. You can tell Tyson. What I want to know, what kind of is Tyson getting out of you? They're getting some tax breaks somewhere along the line, ain't they? Come on, tell us the goddamn truth.
Something.
Got to be some tax breaks. Them and Packers. And that place over in Peru.
They're hiring 100% Haitians. White people are told they don't have jobs.
I know for a fact, because I know people out there. And they told me the one night crew that did the cleaning out there, they fired the whole damn works. And then the next day they brought in Haitians to do it.
They're high school kids.
Now you tell me that this is right. I'm going to tell you something. I'm again, yes, I believe in helping my fellow man. Where the hell have you been in this world? I've been all over this world. I've seen them eating cats. Maybe not here, but over in Korea. And Thailand, I ate something in Thailand. I was drunk when I ate it, but hell, it was good. And my buddy said, hell, you probably ate an alley cat. Hey, if it was that good, I want another one. But I'm going to tell you something. Sympathy only goes so far. I want to help my fellow man. Whether they be Mexican, Oriental, or Haitian. I want to help them. But then again, I want to make sure my grandkids and my great-grandkids have got things to look forward to. And I'm bringing more of them in to compete with them. Where's it at? I didn't compete with coming up. I came up dirt poor. Dirt poor. My mother wouldn't accept shit from nobody. Welfare or anybody. Yeah, I come up poor. Went to school here all my life. Quit school and went in the Army. Army gave me what I wanted. You didn't. The thing is, I come back here thinking I'm coming home. This ain't home to me. The lady's right about out there at Walmart. Me and my wife, we don't go shopping out there unless it's real early in the morning or real late at night because there ain't no parking places. And I have handicapped parking places. Well, yeah, we do that. And like my wife's super religious. She wants to help everybody. And I do too. But then again, that only goes so far. I'd rather help these people than them. And I'd rather help anybody else in this country than them. Let's make sure our own families are taken care of before we bring outsiders in. By the way, I gotta leave because I run out of oxygen. But I'm telling you the truth, I might be going back to Arizona.
Thank you, Robert.
Oh, by the way, I got my ship to go in that building out there. But now your man Stokes didn't do it. You didn't do it. I got another man who takes care of him.
Good deal. Any other public comments?
We're gonna need it.
So I'm gonna say all the quiet.
State your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Corey. You don't need my address. You already have it. Oh, sorry.
What was your last name?
My name's Corey Pound. So I want to say all the quiet stuff loud, and the brainwashing and the manipulation that's going on just in the whole world as a whole. First off, my own personal experiences with the illegals. And yes, I'm going to call them illegals because they do not belong here. My first off was when I first came here, there wasn't that many. That was just like 3-4 years ago. Wasn't that many. And then I come here, and I move here, and I go shopping, and I go grocery shopping, and I go grocery shopping a lot. And when I do, I see these crowds of Haitians. So I listen. I'm always got my ears going. I'm listening, I'm watching you guys too. So I'm listening, and they're over there talking about 666, Bloods, gangs. I have a tattoo where I used to do some bad stuff, so I used to be a Blood, so I know all what they're talking about. And they're all talking in front of the vegetable about gangs and getting things together in Logansport. And then, a couple months later, we get out of the blue a letter of eviction. Well, I'm a really good tenant, take really good care. And we got an eviction notice, and I asked, what's going on? And I use an excuse, and this is called BK Management. I don't know if anybody's familiar with who BK Management is or who owns them, but I have a good understanding of probably who owns them because they're cutthroat, vicious, mean. But they gave me a reason saying they want to remodel our apartment. So, state of Indiana, you can evict anybody for whatever reason. Sure. They gave us our 3 months out of the blue, and when we went looking for apartments, guess what? None of them were taking any of us colored people. And if they were taking us, the rent was around $1,000 to $900, $900 to $1,000 for a small apartment. That's unacceptable. It's ridiculous. And we all know that the Haitians are getting our taxpayers $2,000 to $3,500 a month. They don't work. They don't want to work. And the agenda is you are going to depopulate the people here so you can have the third world slaves to work in all your new factories that's coming up, like the new lithium battery factories that are coming up in North Carolina. What's going to happen in Florida? What's going on over there? Why did it get destroyed? These people are here to replace. And you guys are getting paid willingly to let us all die and just watch it. Letting us all die, being replaced for what? For your own safety? Are we all humans? Aren't we in this together? It always comes down to greed and power. And honestly, the corruption, the Jesuit order. We know, everyone knows who's behind this and the actors that are in it. And the whole cats and eating cats, I've seen it firsthand. There's garbage bags full of animals around my block, just slowing around with animals in them. Because I go on walks, and when I go on my walk, I smell death. I have a very good nose. I can smell the death. And when I follow it, I find these trash bags.
Did you call the police or animal control?
No one gives a shit. I'm sorry to say a word, but no one cares. No one's doing nothing. They're going to write it up, and when I say something, they write it up, and then somehow it either disappears or someone else, it's under another demographic or something. Everything has been manipulated in our system. And whether you guys are not aware of it, you are being muppeted and brainwashed, you are. Either you're being bought and paid for, that's your own prerogative. These are your choices. But we are in the end time right now, where you're either going to be on the good or you're going to be in the bad. History is being written right now. And if we don't stop this, if you don't join the group of good, well, Flipcoin is going to be on the other hand, and it's not us going to be depopulated. It's going to be everyone who's joining in, trying to get their comeuppance of the monies of our taxpayer laundering. We know all about the taxpaying and how everyone launders. Where are your guys' receipts? How come there should be a website where website where all your receipts, where all of our taxpayer money goes, cut dry, no redactions. I'm getting tired of hearing.
Every Wednesday, you can sit right here and see every transaction that happened in the last week. It's right there for you to see.
Okay. Well, I'll find that. I'm new to this whole thing too, but I don't want to see the word redacted because everyone is starting to rewrite history and manipulate. Everything that we have learned in our history has been a lie. Whether you wake up to that crap or not, that's up to you.
Yeah.
But we are in a spiritual warfare right now. It is our collective consciousness that is being grasped and taken advantage of. Slaves.
I think we got a pretty good picture of what you're painting here.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Thank you.
There may be somebody out here that wants.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
We got it.
I know your guys' groups. I know who you're bought and sold for, and it's not going to work for you guys any much longer.
Hey, you know what? Nobody's bought and sold me, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
No secrets anymore.
Yeah, good luck, son. You're gonna need it.
Open luck, honey. Oh,
Secrets over.
bless your heart with your Mason Jesuit orders.
See you, son.
I don't know.
My name is Jeff Craig Bonham. I live here in Logansport, Indiana. Jeff Craig Bonham. I know most of you up here on a personal basis, and I've known you for quite some time. And I really don't think anybody in this room is racist. But what happens is when you throw nationalities together all at one time, this is the kind of response you get. My grandparents migrated to Logansport, Indiana from Naples, Italy in the early 1900s. So I guess, everybody wants to be somewhere where it's safe, they feel good. But I guess my question to any one of you want to answer it, whether it's the mayor or any council members, there has to be a certain influx. You just can't open the doors and let everybody in at one time.
I think I've asked you a question, or maybe all of you a question. I keep hearing that you want us to do something, and I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of you may think that we come here once a month and we have a meeting and it takes an hour and we all vote yes and we go home happy because we kumbaya'd for an hour. But the reality is we focus on a lot of different things within the city of Logansport. I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't have a clue at this point, and I don't have the time in my day to know. So if there's people out there, Dave, you seem to be on the know here. If there are, now just listen first.
Time, you shouldn't be in that seat.
Let him finish what he's saying.
Listen.
Can I just finish what I want to say, and then Dave, you can continue, because I'm not going to be that long.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. I guess my question is we've had a 30% increase.
And how do we actually know that?
It was in the Ferris Tribune. Somebody reported it. I read it right on the front page.
I've been trying to figure out how many of them there are here, and I don't know that.
So, okay, here's my question. Whether at a city level, a state level, at a federal level, what do you guys do to fix the problem? I mean, you just can't open up the doors and let everybody in, because this is what you get. So, I mean,
So we should shut the doors?
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm just teasing.
But I mean, you just can't open it up and let everybody in. At some point, there has to be a consensus where you say, hey, look, we can only let so many people in here at a time.
Let me ask you a
There's not
question.
that many good paying jobs in Logansport unless you want to go to McDonald's, Rural Kings, Jimmy John's, or whatever.
I get all that, but let me ask you a question. How many of you have contacted your state representatives or your federal representatives, and what kind of answers have you gotten from them?
I guess this is the first place you start, though, Dave. I mean, this is the first place you start is at your local level, because this is where it's happening, at the local level, right here in Logansport.
And it's clear we're going to have to go higher because you guys are oblivious.
Jeff, influx of people coming in, we have no control of that as city councilmen.
No, this isn't
How are we going to
relevant.
stop people from coming into town?
That's my question. What do you do?
Well, this is not a city level.
Are you monitoring the bridge that's doing all this?
We don't have, you guys act like we have ordinances that we can enforce or that we can write an ordinance. We have no power to do it.
So, you bring a problem to the city council. What do you do, Dave?
Here's what I'm trying to, here's what I'm trying to ask you, Jeff. Here's what I hope will come out of this meeting. I mean, we all have our feelings about the situation, and we all have our reservations about the situation. But I had hoped, from what I heard, there's this group out there that's been looking into it. I had hoped to get some information from you guys.
So, I guess, does the,
And what do you know?
does the city have any programs in place that helps assimilate these people into our culture? Because,
Tried that.
because they don't speak English. I don't even go to Walmart anymore. We avoid it. But I mean, is there any programs put in place for these people to go to?
It's hard to get people to come to it. If you're an immigrant, would you come to an orientation of the town? You know, you can't just jump in a car and drive.
Well, that's another thing. They do drive, so how does that happen, Scott?
There's also people that,
I'm just proposing the question. What, at a city level, if you guys can't do nothing, then we have to go to the state.
Here's what I tell you, and the mayor alluded to it earlier. We have been trying to meet with all the different entities within the city, and we've been reaching out to people beyond Logansport to try and figure out how do we get a handle on this? How do we do the orientation part of it? You had your chance. But no, what I'm saying is, sit down. Sit down.
you're not up at the desk. Sit down, please. You sit down too, ma'am.
Go sit down.
Ma'am, sit down. Wait your turn.
Go sit down.
Wait your turn, ma'am.
He's up right now. Jeff, here's what we've been trying to do. And I'm sorry, but I had hoped this would go a lot better from both sides of the table here, from that side and from this side. We as city council, you guys act like we're just sitting here waiting for a problem. We deal with the day-to-day operations here, and we try our best to do what we can to better the community. We have a group that's meeting. We don't have those answers yet, Jeff, but what I was saying was, I had hoped that people were coming here tonight that might have information that truly would be helpful to us, not, I don't know.
If I'm not speaking out of the order, Mr. Mayor, didn't you say this was a federal issue and you needed help from the federal government?
Correct.
Have you looked into that?
State of emergency.
We are working with the governor's office right now to have a solid plan to get with the federal government. Here's the thing. This is what I agree with Dave. Tonight, I wanted to hear statements. Now, what I will say is that I understand the Walmart situations because I have heard that. Here's what we tried to do as a community. Our chief of police tried to work with Walmart corporate on making sure that we could help with our local police department inside Walmart to be able to help with that issue. You know what corporate said? Don't bother. They don't want our help. So as far as Walmart goes, I'm sorry, but I tried. We tried with Walmart. But as far as that goes, the rest of it, you have to know what to ask for in order to get it. And that's what we're doing. We're meeting with people in our community. We're trying to figure out exactly what we need. Is it code enforcement? Is it police department? Is it Cass County Health Department? Is it the hospital? We need to know what we're asking before you ask for it. Because if you don't, you look like an asinine idiot trying to ask for money for something that you don't even know what you have an issue with. Right? So tonight, I wanted to hear the issues. I wanted to understand from a community standpoint. Instead, all I heard was a lot of grumbling, a lot of rumors with non-confirmation. I have not heard anybody say anything about them ever filing a police report and it not being handled. We have had a 20 to 30% increase in hospital services, okay? 30% increase in the physician visits, 30% increase in our births, and a 30% increase in ER visits. 20 to 30% increase. That's where I get that number, that 20 to 30% increase. Now, if you take that 20 to 30% increase and then look at that and see what that does to reflect other city services, it matches. So that's why I say 20 to 30% increase is pretty accurate. Now, to be able to tie that in to one specific group, really? Our city has grown drastically over the last 5 years. And when that happens, it's not a certain group. Now, I will agree with you. The larger number of that would be the Haitian immigration, correct? Right? We agree with that?
I think we all agree with that.
Exactly. So now I want to know from the community, what do you expect us to do? What do you want us to do at this point? Because while we're doing our background checks and we're making sure that we got our facts straight to make sure that when we go and address the federal government, we know what the hell we're talking about.
Are you monitoring the bridge and keeping track of statistics so you can show them how many they're allowing in and that they're not even offering housing to anybody? It's directly linked, government and church placing these people. 3 years I've been looking for a place to live. 3 years, they don't even put them up. It's secretly done. Bring them in, bring them in, bring them in. Are you monitoring the bridge? Do you know their statistics? How many have they brought in? How many have they helped? Are they working?
Angela, I will get those stats, yes.
A lot of them aren't working.
I will get those stats for you. I cannot speak for Tyson. So as far as Tyson goes, please, just don't, why are you even bringing that up to the city council and the mayor?
That's all I had.
Nothing to do with Tyson. We cannot do anything with Tyson.
That's all I had.
And the employees and the things that they're doing, that is not our job.
You know, I didn't come here to say you guys are all at fault, but there has to be a plan somewhere, and it's got to start here at the local level.
Yeah.
It has to.
Well, and keep in mind, Jeff, here's one thing that I really want the community to understand here. This was just brought onto our shoulders nationally by, what, a month ago, if that? And so we are just getting started.
Oh, you're
I'm making sure that we have the statistics. So within a month, by the end of November, I want to have a solid game plan. Here's why. Because again, you have to know what you're asking for if you're going to ask for it. And I'm not about to go and ask the federal government for anything right now because there's a federal election happening. And I'm not about to have them play politics. I'm not playing politics with this community, and I refuse to play politics with this community. I don't care whether you're on the left or right. I don't care how you feel about the immigration policy. We have an issue in Logansport. I'm solving it. I'm taking the challenge, and I'm making sure that that challenge is accomplished in the best efforts for Logansport. I'm making sure that our quality of life is protected, because that's what matters most, is making sure that those of you who are born and raised here, like myself, I want to see the quality of life great. And that's why we've been improving our parks. Now, on top of that, let me be very clear with this. Although you guys assume that I don't live in Logansport, I do. And where I go on the weekends has nothing to do with it. So there you go, Jody. I do live in Logansport. You are welcome. You are welcome. It is on the east end, by the way. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you here 40 hours a week for work, or is it 15 still?
Anyway.
So then the city will keep the residents up to date what's going on.
So I just want you all to know, I plan moving forward. This is my plan as the mayor of the city of Logansport, Indiana. Moving forward, I want to make sure that the transparency is clear when it comes to handling the challenges that we face right now with our Haitian immigration. That I can absolutely admit I am at fault, and I will take absolute responsibility for the fact that I have not been transparent enough on this issue. However, moving forward, I want to make it very clear that I will be transparent, and I will make sure that you all know that I am doing what I can, when I can, for this community. Thank you. All right, any other public comments? Sorry, Sonny, go ahead.
I want to appreciate people who have come from the audience telling what sounds like strange stories. I don't know where the brothels are in Logansport, and I'm not surprised if you don't know either. I haven't been in a gang, except a big family growing up. That was my gang, I guess. And so I wouldn't have known what the Bloods' code words were in the produce department. And even though, sir, your story did wander deeply into cause and effect, which maybe we weren't ready for yet. But I appreciate that you follow, you walk, and you listen, and you smell, and you notice. That's so important. And one thing that happens at our city council meetings, and I think this might be a common council meeting, is that what this is tonight?
Uncommon, but.
It goes by so fast, the business. We have no paper at the podium to pick up on our way in, so we have no clue what's getting voted on. No paragraph is read. It just flies by. And, oh my goodness, I should have been doing my homework all month to know what the bond is for, really. I know I did attend a meeting and learned that, yes, the city is going to spend over a 5-year period enough to pay $250,000 for 10 acres to add a driving range at the golf course, and that will be happily used by high school students, and, you know, we can be proud of the beautiful parks Logansport has. But honestly, I believe pocket parks might be more important for community use and for community harmony than a $250,000 just for the land, for the driving range. We might be, you know, I do know a little bit about the community services at Emmaus. A volunteer translates, and I love hearing the French. Je parle un peu français, oui. Excusez-moi, madame, when I want to go through the line. And the staff at Emmaus works so hard to be kind and to be thoughtful when Haitian customers, some of them are very genteel and wonderful, and others push to get to the carts in the rack so that the volunteers can hardly unload their wares. Anyway, I know also that what was an elementary school has been turned into an adult education center, correct? Which school was that?
Franklin was several years back.
Yeah, so
It's not
that's
adult, though.
a big facility. It's for,
Mixed use now.
you know, English as a second language and many other GED courses, I assume, all of that. So those projects are underway. But I think that the city council is a bit quick at times because you work hard. I know that when you say you don't have time or you didn't see it, you didn't do the research yet, it's because you have a lot on your plate. You do a lot of work on behalf of the city, Dave, and I'm sure that the other, I can't imagine to think what reading all your emails must be like, because we don't get this on paper. We feel in the dark a little bit. How many people would have appreciated a little slower process tonight, a little more understanding about, not just having a number when an authorization is made, but the amount of the money and what it's for and how much is being transferred? Are other people also feeling a little bit in the dark about what the business was tonight?
We go through all this at the finance meeting. We fly through this because we've already been through it at the finance meetings before, so we know what it is because we've already previously talked about it.
And those were all public meetings as well. But I apologize. I don't disagree that we couldn't go a little bit slower and explain some of the ordinances as we're passing them or the resolutions, but a lot, for instance, a lot of it is just, for us, it's a formality. Like the lead time on buying a dump truck was 1.5 years. So the money we appropriated 1.5 years wasn't sufficient to buy the dump truck because the price went up. So we had to appropriate an additional $3,000 or $4,000 to buy our dump truck. But not that they're not important, but like I say, they're just routine things that we do over and over through the course of a year. And Sonny, I appreciate all your input.
I have one more point.
Sure.
I especially am interested in hearing from women in the second row because I want to know exactly what the problems are in the school for your daughters and granddaughters. I want to know exactly what the problems are. I was glad for your comment about, the grass being this high and the 18th Street not being attractive, but that was insightful and very appropriate. And my final point is that I think the city council could write a letter to say that the community has expressed a great deal of concern tonight about the numbers of Haitians suddenly coming in, and that we have concern about the temporary protective status being, not working here well enough. And that you're going to do some research. So maybe you'll publish a letter to the editor that you will send to, even before the election.
Yes.
Don't wait for the election. Shouldn't put life off. So I do hope, and please, women, have you noticed that the men feel more empowered to come and speak? It's true, and
Right.
it's just true. I'm the men speaking too, I really do.
Yeah.
Any other public comments? Sure.
I'm gonna say a couple things here before anybody else speaks, just because I need to say it. One of the things, and I've talked to Sonny many times. She actually lives up at the end of town I live on. And I've told you guys, I've helped everyone that I could possibly help in the 9 years I've been on the city council. But I look around this room and it's full, and that shows me that there's true concern for our community. But here's the thing, all of our emails are public. And you want to know how many emails I've gotten about the Haitian concern? 0. You can get it right off of the city website.
They never go anywhere. When it's done in public like this, it stays.
Mayor doesn't.
No, that's not true.
You need to feel this emotion. You needed to see this emotion from your community. You need to see how we're feeling.
And I'm not saying that's not the case, but I'm trying to emphasize to you that for me, a lot of my communication is, if somebody sends me an email, it was important enough for them to take the time to reach out to me and ask me about a situation or to whatever the case may be. And I'm going to look into it. If I've not done it, it wasn't because I did it unintentionally. I reach out to anybody that asks me about anything, and I'll follow up on it. But my point is not, this is good. I won't disagree. Emotion's a good thing. But maybe the gravity of how people in our community fought was lost on me, because I'll be honest, and I live at the edge of town, so it's a little bit different where I live. I haven't had any bad experience, and my mother lives at 14th and North, and I go up there and take care of her yard and things, and I have had no issues up there, and there's quite a few that live in those neighborhoods.
There were 3 of them naked having a threesome on High Street on a front porch.
Now I feel bad I missed.
Absolutely.
But
Police were called on that. Absolutely.
But that's what
our children are seeing.
That's what I'm saying. There's an easy way for you to reach out to all of us, and that's just send us an email and let us know that you've come across a situation so that we can address it. We can't address the things that we don't know, and I'm not saying we didn't know there were some problems here, but I was a letter carrier for 35 years, and I watched as the influx of the Hispanics came into our community. And I'm going to be honest with you, the only difference between then and now, you know what the difference is? Social media. Social media.
The media ain't got nothing to do with the racial problem in this town.
Well, I'm just saying.
You walk down the street, you see, anywhere you go in this town, there's Haitians everywhere.
The
point on social media, that was ridiculous.
The point that I'm saying is that social media has brought an awareness to everything. You know, our country was maybe as rough. You ever watch an old Western, you think, did they really shoot them up like that in the old days? Well, we don't know because you didn't communicate with people outside of a few miles from you. But as communication has gotten better and better, and it's instantaneous now, we know all the terrible things that happen in the world, and we know them right away. So I'm just saying that you reach out to us directly. It's a simple thing to do, and that's all I'm asking from you.
It just seems sad that we're aware of all this and you guys act,
No, I'm not speaking. I'm not speaking for anyone but myself, and I'm telling you that in my experience, I really haven't had a bad experience. But I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying I'm not aware of it. That's all I'm saying.
hard to see to be in.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you guys for your time. I want to thank you guys. I apologize for making it stay longer, but I do have a question. You
What is your name
said
and address for the
Candace
record?
Espinoza. I live at 1247 College Street. I also own a business at 115 West Columbia.
Thank you.
My question is to you, Chris. You had just previously said you wanted people to come here and give you information. Can you tell us what information we could use to help you to get to where we can get things settled? To me, it's not just the Haitians. I'm married to a Mexican, so race is not a thing for me. But I live in a community where there's a guy who I've called the cops. He pees off his porch and nothing gets done. My daughter has seen him naked multiple times, and we've called the cops multiple times. He is not a Haitian. He is a Hispanic something. I don't know what he is. I have seen Haitians do similar things, but I mean, it's in the neighborhoods. It is everywhere. To me, it doesn't matter what color or race, it's other people. But I just want to know what we can do to better our community, because we're not growing doing it this way.
Thank you, Candace. Ultimately, the information I wanted to get was more of what you guys were experiencing. I know that their personalities aren't the best, right? So they can be very rude. But I think that goes with their culture. They can be nice too. Really? Yes. That goes with their culture.
Yes.
And so ultimately, we're trying to figure out what are the biggest issues that you as community citizens have with the Haitian population right now. So obviously we know attitude, we know this, being naked in public, obviously that's a problem. Having intercourse in public is a problem. So those are things that I needed to know though, and I'm taking notes. I want you guys to know I am taking notes, of everything here. So
I do also know of like accidents. There's been a lot of vehicle accidents. They have hit people walking. They have hit actually some of our friends in their vehicles, and the insurance actually canceled their insurance because the Haitians don't have insurance.
So one of the questions that we have for the governor's office that we're awaiting a response for is, how are they getting driver's license? How are they getting driver's licenses without having to take a test? How is that possible? So again, guys, I get it. I understand the frustrations, and at no time am I ever discounting any of this. I understand exactly what you're saying. But again, these are things that I need to know so that I can research them and ask these questions.
I have witnessed not just Haitians, but Guatemalans and people from other places going up to the BMV. They take their test, they fail it, and they come back out and they restudy it and go take the test again. I've been there. Why they do it. My husband has been there, Roberto Espinoza, he's witnessed it as well, where we have sat there waiting for us to get license plates and stickers for our license plate and watch them sit there, take and read, and then go take the test again. So I don't think that's okay, and I've witnessed it. I've no other people witnessed it, but that is something I don't think you know.
Right, so, exactly. So again, those are the stories I need. I need to know what you guys are seeing out in the community that I can say, hey, listen, this is why we're having an issue. These are the challenges we're facing as a community. Here's what we need in return to be able to help us as a city group, as city government, to be able to make sure that we overcome these challenges as a community. So stories like that for sure.
Translators?
We do.
We have enough translators?
We do.
I hear on the scanner all the time. When the house blew up over there by Walmart, for 30 minutes or longer, they kept saying, we need translators here. Those people are injured, the house is blown up, and for 30 minutes, they could, and is it Creole, is it Portuguese, Spanish, French? We're gonna have to supply all that in the schools, in the fire departments, in the ambulance, everywhere.
Well, Angela, I will say that is one of the things that we have wrote down. So we are writing lists of things that we need to ask the government for, the federal government about. And one of those is that. So it's making sure that, look, if we as a community, if we a local government have to supply translation services, the local taxpayer shouldn't be paying for that. That should be paid for by the federal government allowing immigrants into our community, period. Right? If they're going to have a temporary protected status, then they need to make sure that we as a community are not having to pay for them to be here. Is that fair?
Yes.
Is that a fair assessment? So ultimately, that's what I'm doing. I'm taking these notes, I'm making notes, I'm making these asks, if you will, and one of those is translation services. But Angela, I thought for sure that we had enough translators. I thought 12 was enough, but I will definitely look into that for sure.
Thank you again for your time.
Do we have Haitian Creole translators?
We do. We have three.
Or,
Yep.
Spanish.
Yeah, we have 3 Haitian Creole.
Okay.
Yes. Any other public comments?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yep. Brian? Hyder?
Very well. Ladies. I'm Barney Hyder. My son's animal control. He does his job, but he's limited. And when I hear him get attacked, I get attacked. And I don't like it. He's been doing it for 15 years. His hands are tied. I've been to your Wednesday council meetings, and first one I was at, it ended so quick, I never got my hand up. So quick, people shot out of here like they were going to a fire. I'm thinking, what's going on? I have a question for you. Where are you going? It's the first one I've ever been to. The second one, she was there. And this time she stopped it. She stood up and said, hey, anybody got any questions? I am gone. This time she stopped it, and I had a chance to speak about the trash around my neighborhood, which was taken care of. I brought an issue up, and it was taken care of. And what I've heard tonight is a lot of different problems coming up. And each one that came up, it just wasn't a resolution from anybody here on what we're going to do. It was almost like you're getting attacked, and you guys have been so used to everything just going great, and this is my first one too. So my wife and I just got, after she spoke, she left because she felt like she got attacked. She's a good Christian woman, a solid Christian woman that spoke her heart here, and she got attacked.
Shame on you.
When I was a president of the union in '78 at Wilson Foods, we went on strike. We were making $11.19 an hour, and they came back and offered us $6 an hour, and I was a president. I had 900 guys wanting to kill me. And you know what? I maintained. You guys are in positions, you've got a community here that's voicing their, some of them maybe not the right way, but they're saying we're hurting. There's a lot of issues going on in this city. The streets, the little list you guys have here. Get priorities. Don't just throw, oh, this is some of the things we have. You heard streets. Maybe that's something, this is a problem. Okay, we're going to address those streets. Yeah, we got a problem here. I live on Smead Street. You drive over 17th Street, and I'll tell you what, you'll shake your car to pieces. That's been like that for 20 years. That just didn't happen. That just didn't happen. There's places in that street that if you don't get on the left side of the street, there's like a gully, you think you're out in the country. It's been like that forever because I go down to 12th Street. I've been here since 1970. Got out of service, Vietnam, came here in 1970, and I've been here in Logansport ever since. You guys are in positions to take heat. And how you respond to these people out here is the way they're going to react to you. And you start identifying us as Haitians, that's wrong. I know you misspoke, but I really took it as offensive that I spent 23 years in the military protecting this country to bring a bunch of people in here that's done absolutely nothing. Now, I don't have any problem with Mexicans or Hispanics or Chinese or Vietnamese or anybody else. I don't. I'm not racist. I was raised in Michigan around a bunch of Hispanics and great people. It's a great country to live in, but there's priorities to look at. And I knew that I didn't want to come tonight because I didn't want to be up here. Because I knew that this place was going to be packed, and it is. But there's hurt going on. My kids have graduated. I've got great grandkids coming up. You know where they're at? They're homeschooled. You know why? I don't want them raised woke. I don't want them. I got nothing against people that have different views on what their lifestyles are, what they do is on them. But how they affect my town on North Street, and I'm hearing stories, and these are the stories, I've not seen it. That if it gets nighttime, you don't go in certain parts of town. When I came here in '70, you could leave your doors open. You could leave your screen door. I was living a dream when I came out of the military. It's the greatest town in the world to raise my kids. And now I hear this, and then I hear schools that are just so overwhelmed, and I'm thinking, well, what's the solution? Because I'm hearing it from back here. What's a sad day that my great grandkids will never experience what my grandson did at Pioneer as a football player because he can't play football if he don't go to school. Did you know that? If he don't go to junior high school, he's not allowed to play football. Do you know that? because he's homeschooled. Do you know how many's being homeschooled over here at Galveston? How many kids from all around here? About 400. 400 kids that have been taken out of these schools because of what's going on. And there's going to be more to come. There's going to be more to come because they're not willing to put their kids in this kind of situation that the policies in this election's been. I got one more thing to say. Elections do have consequences. And I'll say everybody here, because I'm going to run for one of these offices. I'm running. I don't know which one will be. They say, get up and shut up. If you can't take the hit, take a step aside and let somebody that will take it. I'm going to be 77 years old. I got a few more years left, and I got a lot of fire in me. If you don't want to do this, because there's going to be more situations come up. I remember him going around and campaigning, and they wrote him off. They wrote him off, the youngest pup in the area. And guess what? They got so much tired of the bull crap that's going on here, they decided we needed to change. Now, right, wrong, or different, it was done in the right way. There was an election, and they were voted in. There's some commissioners that I'm looking at right now. I haven't made my mind up yet. But when I run, I guarantee you, I will be on the streets, and I'll be campaigning. These people want answers, they want solutions. I hope I settle things down a little bit, but I came in the second time, the trash got taken care of. I threw whatever his name, Randy, I threw Randy under the bus. He's a code enforcement, I threw him under the bus. I said, do your job. Is that right? What I want you to do is do your job. My hands are tied. Then I came here and I spoke to the committee. Then I stopped him and the assistant mayor. I stopped him right there before they got out the door. I said, this is what I need. Trash is stacked up around my neighborhood. I've got grass that's up to my waist. And these Haitians are not mowing it. They're not mowing it. And he goes to his house and they took care of it. Ever since then, they've been mowing it. You have to bring it up do it the right way. And these council meetings on Wednesday night, you know how many people those council meetings on Wednesday night? 2 or 3. That's it. You guys ought to be ashamed of yourself. If this committee, if this community is so important to you to know what's going on in here, to come in here, and an election comes up and take him out. It's not about Democrat, Republican. He said, well, you're sitting in here. This is about the city of Logansport. This is our town. We're not leaving.
We're the natives.
That's right.
You have to listen to us.
Exactly right.
Thank you, Barney. Sonny? All right.
So what's going on for morning?
I see you. Twisted your arm, huh?
Hi, Bridget Davis, 909 South Sycott Street, born and raised in Logansport. So I'm sitting here and listening to all this, and I'm like, why Logansport? Is that just where the bus stopped? There was no plan for however many people a bus could hold? What did they do? Where did they go? Anybody know? Are the shipping containers housing anyone? Are they under bridges? I don't know. I mean, I heard they were hanging out in a woods west of town. But why Logansport? I'm curious. You know, they're not gonna like the winner.
Right.
I know a lot of them work at Tyson's.
So Tyson was the big draw.
Yes.
And there's nothing between the city of Logansport and Tyson, any kind of an agreement that's going to allow, and now this is hearsay, I don't know for a fact, but supposedly they are unvaccinated and they're bringing AIDS
That's just hearsay. You don't know that for a fact, do you?
I've heard it from hospital employees.
Have you looked into it?
I'm sorry?
Have any of you looked into it since it's been?
We just heard that recently, yes.
How many we have?
But right now it's hearsay, and you shouldn't go spreading rumors.
That's what I said. I'm not a fact checker on that. I've heard it. I have a concern about it, especially if they're working at Tyson. And how can they have TB and work at Tyson?
They are a privately owned company.
So they can employ infected persons? I don't understand.
To follow laws just like everybody else. If the laws are enforced, that's not our duty, it's the government's and the police department to enforce it, health department, whoever enforces that subject.
Well, let's bring that up again. I have been here before talking against WSP.
I remember.
And the concern that I had when I talked to the health department, after all of these physicians were so against it because of what is going to happen down the road, maybe not to me or you, but children. And you know what the health department told me? They can't do anything until it starts affecting the kids. Nothing they can do. So the gift that keeps on giving is still trying to pull the wool over our eyes and getting away with it. So now we have an influx of Haitians. Well, I guess. I just want to know why Logansport. What is in Logansport that's going to draw a 20 to 30% increase in population? What is the draw?
There's no guess. BJ had the best guess there is. But I just wanted to remind you that when the WSP thing came up, you know, as a city, we really had no say in that.
It was a done deal.
But let me just, we did what we could do, and we continue to monitor WSP. Is it a full suit safe methodology? No.
Wouldn't it be nice?
It's the same thing as what you're saying. We can't do anything until it goes beyond certain parameters. But at least we're out there. I went out there the other day, changed the filter. Malcolm Jarrell, we contract with him continually to monitor that because we want to take care of the children in our community. It's the same situation as the lead lines. It's the same situation as this. And you know, the gentleman says that we have to deal with things the way that we do. And I agree with that, we do. But I had hoped to have a little more of a civil feedback from the group than what we got. And, you know, a person can sit, and I raised 7 kids, so I got pretty good tolerance most of the time. But there are times, if you push my button long enough, I probably speak out of line, I probably speak a little coarsely. I meant no harm to anybody in this room, but the point of what I was trying to get across was, I know you guys want us to do something. We're not sure what we can do, but I had hoped a group this size was going to bring some ideas to us. Other than
I just want to know.
the stories were important.
Why Logansport?
I don't know. I don't think anyone knows why Logansport.
Bridget, I can tell you for a fact. Bridget, I can tell you for a fact. My wife is Latino. She works at Tyson's, and I take her out there every day at 2:30. Between shift change, between the first shift and the second shift, you see maybe 100 Haitians coming and going. But then I pick her up at night at 11:30 at night, but she works there second shift. And there's, you know, maybe 100, 150.
Oh, no way. I work there. I see the hiring list every week where I work at Tyson. It is 100% Haitians, and I would say right now, evening shift is 80% Haitians. And the whites are just losing all their jobs, and they're rehiring them. Come out there, ask if you can come out there and see.
I do.
On Tyson as well, which is one of the things I wanted to say. PSSI out there They're saying they're working 14 and 15-year-old Haitian high school students, and then they're going to school. That needs to be looked into. And you need to resign, and you need to resign. You can have a lawsuit against you for the racial comments you made to us. You both are being asked to resign today. Both of you.
That Walmsley woman needs to.
So do you. That will get you. That comment you made to us, you better think about that. That's a class action lawsuit. You need to resign.
Class action.
My name is Jason.
You're going to your community now.
830 20th Street here in Logansport. I have a question. When all this money that the government is giving the Haitians right now, what's going to happen when that runs out? All their cards are going to be denied. They're not going to have grocery carts full of food, all these new cars and everything. The ones that don't want to work, what are they going to do? Have a plan for that.
Yep, I agree. Yes? It is.
My name's Aubrey Billingsley. I live at 200 Tangy Street. That's exactly my point too. And I came here because I have Facebook. I look at it here and there. I don't really engage a lot in it. I wanted to see what the truth was. I wanted to hear from the people who probably know more. I would assume, I would hope, because you have these offices that would know more of what is going on and the truth. I've heard many rumors of how these people, why were they put here in Logansport, like she was saying. Why would they? I've heard rumors that people were bought out in order to fix up the police station, in order, like, let's take so many Haitians so we can get money for this police station, whatever. You know, I've heard these rumors, and I came here to get not fake book truth, but actual truth, and I feel like nobody's actually telling any kind of what's going on. We smell a fish in the room. We smell a fish. Like, the math is not mathing. Like, and yes, when the money runs out, what are they going to do? This is why they're going around and intimidating people in public places. And it's not because they're black, it's because they're from a third world country. This isn't just like any old country. This is third world people they don't have the same way of thinking like someone from a regular country. And they're gonna go around and they're gonna intimidate people, and they move different. They walk slowly, and they scope out homes, and I feel scared just sitting on my porch, because the way that they move, I've seen them move so slow. Grown men, like, walking in a motion that was so slow, like they're just observing what's around and what they could possibly think or whatever. And that's what I'm worried about. I mean, and I left bonus pints one night with my friend, and she was like, Aubrey, watch that guy. And he was like walking down this alley, but we were trying to go around that little like scooters thing, and I was like, I already saw it too. I didn't say anything, but I saw it, and I was like, yeah, and we walked around, and I figured by the time we walked around, this guy should have been way past down that alley. We walked around, and he was still lingering and hiding behind trash cans. And she goes, run. And I didn't want to run, so but I started walking faster, and we got in there. The next thing we know, he was like still just like staring at us like really weird. And I carry around pepper spray with me now. I don't feel safe. In that aspect, I do hair, I hear stories, live stories, and these aren't just rumors, these are people's witnesses that things that have happened to them. Like, since when is someone's word of mouth, like what has happened to them, and since when is that a rumor? I'm hearing straight from people's mouths things that happened. I have a client who had mowing his lawn, someone comes straight through their fence, could have run him over while he was mowing his lawn, gets out of his car, pops his bumper back on, and takes off. Like, stuff like that. And then what can the police really do about that necessarily once they're gone? Like, and I've heard another one where the girl got in a crash with one of them, and the chick walked out, and when the police got there, she was gone by that point. And guess what? She had kids in the car. I don't know what happened with that beyond that. That's what the story that I heard from that. Like, I've just been hearing so many different, one chick got her car totaled while it was sitting there parked, outside her house. And I joked around. I said, was it a Haitian? Just being like joking. And she was like, believe it or not, yeah. So, I mean, this isn't just something that is like, you can't act like this isn't going on. But it's like, why were they strategically placed here? Was there like a thing like with a
a big corporation, some money given in order to the city so that we could take these people and like people, I even have a client that lost, kind of like that guy, got kicked out of her apartment or whatever, it was like a duplex, and it was because they sold it off to one of these big companies, and they were redoing it because they know that they can get subsidized money for these homes by other people, like, you know what I'm saying, for the Haitians and whatnot, and they get that guaranteed money from the government that these people are getting paid to pay their rent, and they don't have to worry about somebody not paying. So this is gonna increase the cost of everyone's housing in all those kinds of ways, because they know they can make that kind of money, and when people start getting that kind of money, they're not gonna go backwards and be like, okay, yeah, now we're gonna just, now that this problem's gone, we're gonna lower the rent for people. No, and like, they are hiding stuff on LinkedIn, as far as like job opportunities and stuff, because they want cheap labor. They want, it's all corrupt, and we wanna know where's the seed? Where did this start? Like, why, I mean, that's what we're sitting there, that's why everybody has these emotions and everybody's fired up and we're confused. Like, all we see is what we see. That's all I gotta say. But is there any answers from any?
Well, I think we can all pinpoint that Tyson originally, at this point, had at least wanted the labor from the Haitian immigration. However, no one in this local government has taken a dime, nor do we have any trade-offs or agreements with anybody or anything like that to house Haitians. Two, we don't know that they are being bused here. I think that's just a rumor from Springfield, Ohio, but I've never seen.
I heard that too, that it was here by the fairgrounds.
I mean, if you have, that's fine, but
And that's why I wanted to come here and find out from you guys if these things are actually true, or are these just things being said?
Exactly. Yes. So yeah, the money, there's no money whatsoever from this local government. There's been no money exchanged to Tyson, from Tyson.
I truly have no plan to speak.
You need to monitor Tyson at this point too. Absolutely. You need to monitor Tyson.
Yes.
I think we need to bring this to a close. Dave Price, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to be here till midnight.
I got great notes.
Okay, so we need to get to the root of the problem, all right? We all know what that problem is, I believe, without saying that name, okay? I'm not going to say it. But what are they going to do to help this community accommodate this? Okay, we've got a big problem here, all right? It is a hot mess. We need to fully fund our police department and fire department. They all need equal pay. The firemen need their raises. Without those two groups, we are screwed, okay? If we don't have protection here in the Cass County Sheriff's Department, my stepdad, Bob Rosie, is rolling over in his grave, I guarantee it. He was chief of police here and he was sheriff, and he would have just never tolerated this behavior. And it's all about behavior. It's not about race. It's about behavior. They need to learn how to behave here, okay? If we move to Haiti or wherever, Italy, you name it, we better know the rules and laws there, and we better abide by them, or we're going to get punished. No grace should be given to anybody, in my opinion, okay? I've heard that rumor. Is that true, Chris? Have you told the police to give them grace?
No. Oh, that's
Not at all.
That's huge. That they're going
All
to
right.
make a stay.
Okay, I just wanted to get that.
No, that's not at
I
all.
wanted to get that cleared up. I wanted to ask you
Yeah,
directly.
I'm pretty sure I can find that. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure I can find that.
Well, where
I can
is-
research it.
Where I said that?
Absolutely.
When?
I will research it. I'll get back with you.
25,000 Haitians in town.
I'll get back with you.
Chief Yike even said that no.
Exactly. The chief even made comments on that.
Okay, I just wanted to
Moving
ask
on.
you, you're his boss. I wanted to ask you, okay. Dave, that was uncalled for tonight. You know it was. We are not acting like that group of citizens.
No.
I don't even know how they act. That was just uncalled for. That's a racist remark. You need to consider resigning.
I'm not going to resign, Dave.
You're not going to get reelected.
That's
Your behavior tonight, Ms. Walmsley, is uncalled for. No one deserved to be treated like that, sarcastically. We heard your comments. I've never heard this out of a city councilwoman or man in Logansport. That is disgraceful.
Resign as well.
I think
You should apologize to all of us.
I'm not apologizing to anyone.
I know.
Let me tell you something. You're the one.
Excuse me?
Like when you
Can you talk to the microphone?
when you get a group together like this and you start all these rumors, and you bring them together. You bring them together, and you want, when you, and
I may have created awareness.
I'm not done talking. So when you, I'm telling you that our police department, they are offended that you are all in here acting like they're turning your cheek on the.
No, we need them. I'm defending them.
Everybody in this room tonight that has spoke said that they have turned their cheek, and our police department, they're offended by that, and they work their tails off.
I know they do.
Well, then you shouldn't act like they.
I just got done saying we need to fully fund them and more. I was best friends with Sean Heisman back here in high school. I totally respect what they do.
You should.
Okay?
And they're doing a fine job.
And I was raised by Bob Rosie, half raised by Bob, and I know the.
You make a report to the police department and it doesn't get taken care of or followed up on, that's what you need to talk about. We have a fully staffed police department that does an excellent job, and they're offended by the way you people are acting like they're not getting their jobs done, because they are.
That's funny, because a lot of them are saying that they're being.
What's allowed to happen is going to continue to happen, okay, no matter what it
They're not
is.
allowed to.
And we just want to make sure that everyone, if they don't follow the law, that there's a punishment for that. That's all. Is Americans, anybody, whites, blacks, whoever. It doesn't matter. It's not about race, it's about behavior. And we just all need to get along. They need to get along with us. We need to get along with them. We have a great community here. I see great things happening. Okay, there's a lot of bad things right now, but I see that this can change. All right, I see good things coming, and I just thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. Okay, one more thing. I just gotta add this real quick.
Bridget is the last one? Bridget is the last, oh, you need to go? Okay, well, I've seen you standing there for a while, so.
Okay.
It's you.
Here's my question. What do other communities, what are they doing? Oh, wait, they don't have this problem, do they? Kokomo? Are they complaining?
They got an influx of
Korean.
Koreans, yes. And I'm sure they're
Why
going through the
is
same
that?
problem.
Oh, that's that electric battery
Factory.
for electric cars. Okay. Another question that I have, sorry, I guess I had two. How many people can live in one home?
There we go.
Is there an ordinance or a law that says so many people can share a living space? Like if you have a 3-bedroom house, how many people can live in that house?
Rob run once. Code enforcement question, yeah.
Rob is the building commissioner.
Okay.
So yes, there is an ordinance on how many people can be in a house, according to bedroom, and then the bedroom sizes, according to how many people can be in that room. It is charted out in our ordinances that, the problem is when we go and do our rental inspections of most of these places, they're not there, and you can't hold them liable when they're not there.
Could you be there when the postman is delivering their mail? Because I have heard that directly from a postal employee, how many stacks of checks are being delivered to one address.
That'd be breaking a federal law.
All right, you're up. You're the last one, you're gonna finish it.
I used to have it.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, but I would like to introduce myself. My name is Deborah Marcino. I moved here 4 years ago, 2020. I came out of Arizona. I flew out of Phoenix on 2019. It was Christmas Eve into Chicago. I'm originally a Hoosier, but I've lived all over this country because my work took me there. Okay? I know this is a great country. I know you're all great people here. 'Cause I fell in love with Logansport. It brought back like, wow. You guys, I've seen so many towns and cities throughout this country. But here, I even think it's even great. You know, a lot of you might boo me, but we do have a lot of different type of people right now. All right, and I've been spit at, I've been yelled at, I've had a few of them coming at, and I'm 68 years old. All I said to the lady there is like, oh, is that cute? Okay, next thing I know, she starts screaming, and one of her friends from each corner come running up, okay? So, but you know what, I'm living, I understand, they're scared, they're just as scared as us, okay? This is a world that we have to live within. We have wars, we have hatred, we're lacking a lot of love right now in this world, okay? But I don't want to get too far off. But I do understand what's going on in this town. And I have seen a lot of towns and cities destroyed over hatred, okay? We do not want to go there. Nobody wins. Nobody's going to win at all. Okay? We are Americans. We are number one in this world. We can do this, but we have to do it safely. Because there's going to be a lot of people out there, and you know, you've met every kind there is. And you've probably got different answers for every question there is. Okay? So you're writing down your notes, you know, your hospital. I heard a little bit about a disease there. And we're not even out of the epidemic yet, really, but they did close up in May of 23, okay? And I do know about the epidemic. I was one person in this town here. I shouldn't be here. I should not be here at all, okay? They had to fly me out of here. I had the vaccine. I can't get into too much of it, but it killed me over 27 times, put me in a coma, okay? I woke up, I was black as that man's shirt right there, and a big burnt ring. And by the time I was coming out of that coma, this guy stands at the door, and I'm all wired up, barely got my eyes open. And let me tell you, it was no fun coming out of that coma. I felt like I dug myself out of a grave. But anyways, he stands there, and he points, and he's yelling at the top of his lung, goes, you were legally dead over 20-some times. And I'm going, because I had no idea what was going on, okay? Then he says, there's nowhere in this world that I know of, or in the United States, any emergency what we have gone through. So after a while dealing with the government, which is in the Senate right now, because they got me pushed all the way over until after the election. But what I'm saying about when he said nobody knows what's going on, I mean, the emergency room. So when I got my medical records, I thought there might be, 5, 6 doctors. No. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, there's 20. Oh my God, there's 30. There's quite a few more. After that, my hand got tired of writing it down. I was like, here, they're getting it, up there in DC or, where in the heck is it? I know the address, 5600 Fisher Lane. Up there. But anyways, not to get too far off on the medical and stuff. Our world has been going through a lot of trauma, right? The people here, what I fell in love with, God, I don't know, it feels like I'm back in time or something. I feel so comfortable here, I don't know if everybody likes me, but, but I'm enjoying it. And I've never lived in a city. Because like I said, I lived all over the country, out in the country, okay? I could probably tell you where rocks are, But I just hope we can get to this point and be safe. We definitely don't want influences. You got to watch the influences. Because if this gets in the news and it starts getting out, there's always chasers that like the chaos to say this and this and that. I think it can be solved. I think if we can do this, we can make it safe. But I don't think we can handle 25,000 more people, okay? When your own population here I don't know if I'm right, but in
2020 was 18,000.
no, 18,000, okay. You're saying 2020 was 18,000?
That was our
I
census.
thought it was 2017, 2018. But then you got 30% more on there?
20 to 30% increase.
Well, we're hammering it so far. I know there's a lot of, we're gonna have the bumps, okay? There is a lot out there. So we got it, and I don't know about anybody else, but I grew up playing baseball and stuff. You get out there, you give it the best you've got, and you keep going. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you get up. I'm a fighter, But I am concerned about the safety. I take these people here very serious, all right? I know I'm tough, because I travel all over the country. Right now, this is my home. I'm trying to settle down. I'm 68 years old. I already died here, so what the heck, but more, but I gotta keep our faith and keep our chins up. But number one, Americans come first, all right? All right? We work for this. They've had all their years to be, have the same thing we have. Maybe not all the way, but a lot of them have, okay? So they choose to live a lot of it by themselves like that. So, all I can say is I hope we get through this.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Appreciate it. All right, Councilman, Jody, did you have something you want to add? Okay.
I want to say, Jody Thornton, it's the name, 530 Mobley Street. I asked you about your address. I'm not the only one that wants to know that. I was here in the last meeting when they said that you needed to be here at least 15 hours a week. That's why I wanted to know if you were living here or not. Now, we found, here's what it says on county commissioners. At the meeting on July 1st, 2024, the health department has seen 40 TB patients and 2 active cases of tuberculosis. One of those patients has died. Right on the Cass County Health Department.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think that's all I wanted to ask about the police, but that's been covered. But from here on, can we have places or times where we can have meetings about all this or what you are accomplishing?
Sure. Absolutely.
Would it be this meeting every month that we would need to?
I think it needs to be more than once a month. If you guys want me to be transparent, I was thinking every week, at the end of the week, giving you guys a report on what I accomplished that week.
We want you to.
On the immigration. Is that fair? Is that something we can work on? So yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm just gonna send out a press release every Friday to let you guys know, hey, this is what I did this week, this is who I contacted, here's the information we got. That way you guys have all that. And with that, I will make sure that any sources that I have are cited so that you guys know where to go to look for the information to fact check me.
And Chris, we need you to be here.
Sure.
With all this that's going on.
Absolutely.
It's fear, is what you're seeing is fear. Nobody knows what to expect or what's going to happen. And I want to say to you, I do appreciate you and everything that you've done to me, for me. I'm still in the same situation.
I know.
It's still the same situation.
I know, but.
Both homes.
And
one should be torn down.
And I haven't been over there in a while. I hadn't heard anything, so I thought maybe, because I knew there were some other issues going on besides the way the yards looked. And I thought maybe it had gotten better. But I'll go over there and take a look at it, Jody.
You know the same. The situation across the street from me.
Yes,
it's still the same. Now listen, they totally gutted the house and have totally redone the inside of the house. Do you have to have inspections or anything for that?
It depends on what they did inside. If it's just cosmetic, probably not.
Tell Rob.
They totally gutted it.
Yeah, definitely talk to Rob about that if they're doing that. Definitely talk to Rob.
Okay.
Because they would have needed to get a permit, correct, Rob? There you go.
Okay. I doubt that there have been a permit.
I'll look over that way, Jody.
It's young kids that have been in and out of there redoing the house. He's in and out of there, gone here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Still 5 kids in that house. Now the guy behind them put up a fence because it smells so bad because the 5 dogs are in the backyard instead of the house now. With no protection. Animal control has been called. Nothing's done over there. The house next to it that's falling down, 8 cats that I know of in the garage.
Yep.
He was supposed to bring live traps a month ago. I still haven't seen a live trap.
All right, I'll get with Brian on that.
The lady that lives over there, the garage door is open, it's full of trash.
Yeah, I know where you're talking, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it is too. I'll look at it. But you know, this goes back to my point, Jody. When we sit here and talk, we can get things accomplished. But when we got 25 people screaming,
Dave,
I've
been trying to get this fixed for 4 years. It's still the same.
Well, I'm talking about right now.
I mean, I'm embarrassed to even approach you about it anymore.
Well, and I know, and I know the fellow that's gone from over there, occasionally I bump into him. He's always cheerful to greet me, but that's okay. I'll get back over there and
Something needs to be.
we'll keep at it, you know.
Both those places. The other one has the grandchildren, shouldn't be no kids in that house. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody.
Thank you, Jody.
All right, council member comments.
I just want to say one thing. If we don't remember, when the Hispanic surge came in at immigrants, we had problems, same thing. People were wrecking cars, getting out and running, disease, stuff like that. Growing pains. And look how they turned out. We have Hispanic grocery stores, we got Hispanic restaurants, they're good members of the community. You have a few bad apples in every group. Perhaps in time, the Haitians will start to do the same and improve.
But they are getting, the Haitians are getting all the handouts, so that's what I'm saying. They're not gonna, people don't appreciate things that are just given to them. So these people are getting handouts from the head government, not you guys necessarily or anything like that. So how can we expect them to be better or even try to achieve anything after the money stops? That's where the problem is. If you're getting people that are just getting handed everything.
They're also
If they're giving handouts and everything, getting all this money, use your power at the voting booth this November.
Well, I definitely am going to, and I did every time I do.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, but the point is like, you can't compare those two, because those people that came before were working, and were doing.
Not everyone was working.
Well, they weren't getting these benefits that these Haitians are, and you know that is true.
I don't know that. I don't know
You
what
do
they're,
know that.
I don't know what they were receiving.
How do you know that?
How would I know what you're receiving?
I'm sorry, I have to.
On the
say
same
something
Logan
about that.
Sport
Chris
page.
is even saying it. My husband is also one of those that came from Mexico, and he didn't get anything. And
Okay.
he's now in
It's a
America.
totally different scenario.
Very good.
There's a big difference between the two. There
Okay,
is.
very good.
Chris, may I speak with you afterwards?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, any other council member comments? None? All right, so here's what I will say. I did get a lot of information, so thank you guys very much for that. I have a lot of notes to go through and things to get through. Here are the 4 things that I have gathered from tonight that have been the main concerns, okay? And these are the 4 things that I'm going to be working on over the next week. We are looking at translation services. Angela brought up the concern of the translation services. So I'm going to be looking at our translation services a little closer to not only see how many translators we have and what we're paying them, but also what to ask the federal government to do, because they need to be helping with translation services. Yes?
At the end of the day, that still comes from us as well. So I just wanted to point that out.
It's taxes.
Yeah, either way, whether it's local or if it's federal, we're still paying.
That was more my opinion. I didn't want local. My opinion is I would rather not local tax money go towards that. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Sunday.
Many of us have a Google Translator right in our phone, so rather than a human being, you know.
It doesn't work as well as we thought. Yeah, it doesn't work as well as you'd think. It's annoying. The other one is B&V issues. I'm going to be following up on that to talk about the B&V issues. One thing that I would like from the community is to email me, mayor's office at cityoflogansport.org, so you can go directly to Mindy. And I would like to know where you guys are wanting to see an increase in police presence. Where in the community, where in your neighborhoods are you needing to see an increase in police presence? At that point, we will then sit down with the chief and we will discuss the locations that have been submitted to me. Okay, and you can do that every week. You know, I mean, if you think about it, maybe next week something happens, hopefully not, but if something happens next week, you file a police report, that right there, email, let me know, hey, this just happened in my neighborhood, I filed a police report, can you please increase police presence? That's all I need to know.
Have police reports in the paper anymore.
That's, I mean, I don't know. That's First Tribune.
I mean, that's kind of nice to know.
Yeah, well, she left, so she didn't get that memo. All right, and then the last thing is the amount of people in a home. We're going to be diving into that with Rob and looking into that as well, because that's just unsanitary. It's not safe. And then, of course, the things that we are already doing, which is contacting with the health department and making sure that we get the Indiana Health Department on board as well. You know, we can't just rely on ourselves to get things done. We have to reach out and we have to expand asking for help, and we can't be afraid to ask for help. And so that's what we're going to do, is we're going to make sure that health part of it is solved, and that is going to be done through the Cass County Health Department and the Indiana Health Department. And so that's my next move on those. As far as the school corporation goes, please reach out to Michelle Starkey. I'm sorry, I have nothing to do with the school corporation. I don't even have a board appointment, right? So it's a school board, and so you got to get a hold of your school board members. I know that there's one in the back right now. So if you if you talk to the school board, talk to them, and that there, as far as those concerns go with the school. Walmart, I addressed that. We've tried. We have tried. And that's the thing, is that our police department is trying the best they can. I don't understand where this grace comment came from. I have never asked for grace to be given to anybody for anything when it comes to the law. I mean, it's the law. I am not above the law when it comes to that. So I would never ask for a police officer or anybody to not have that. Exactly. So those are the things that I'm working on. Again, I appreciate all of you, and I apologize for my heat. That was mainly because of a previous mayor. As you can imagine, there are tensions there between the two of us. So that was expected. But as far as you guys, I really do appreciate it, and I know that there's a fear, and I know that there's concern. But I need you to understand that I am trying the best that I can to work on this, and I will continue to do that, because that is the oath I took. And so at the same time, I want to make sure that you guys know what I'm doing. And so that's why, starting this Friday, I will send out a weekly update on our immigration status with this issue. Okay?
Where will that be?
So I'm going to send it to all the media outlets. So WLFI, Fox 59, I'm going to even send it to WOWA. And then we'll have, we will also go ahead and send it to the Tribune and Cass County Online. And then Facebook page, our Facebook page as well, yep. And then also, if you guys want, you can also email us, because I'm going to make sure that Mindy has that on her computer at all times. So that if Jody, let's say Jody next week says, hey, I didn't see it, where is it at? She can email Mindy or call Mindy, and Mindy will then give that information to her. So you don't necessarily have to pay attention to the news outlets to get that information, because that's not fair. So call us, and we will make sure that you get that information if you don't see it from the media. Okay?
When can we meet again?
When can we meet again? Well, I will talk to you about that, yeah. But get with Mindy. Give Mindy your number. So, yeah, there you go, yeah. Well, yeah, we can do updates that way. Yes, Sonny?
In your position as mayor, you do send things to the media. I think what people are asking for is face-to-face time in a calm, sometimes, and maybe not always calm, but in more of a circle, that every bit of input is appreciated, everybody can have a turn, and we are citizens together. Right now, when you're talking about sending out emails, telling all media, that's your mayoral role.
Mm-hmm.
But as a neighbor and a person wanting feedback and wanting to give feedback, a meeting is appropriate, and 1 month of weekly meetings might achieve a lot.
I agree. Yes, so I will be looking at that as well. Public meetings.
Get Jimmy John, too.
There you go. Yes.
Have you spoken to the governor?
I have not directly. No. We are working with Tyler Warman at the governor's office. All right. Miscellaneous business and any matters not already considered, including ADA Section 504 compliance or concerns. All right. Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn? Move. Call for question.
BJ Cox,
Yes.
Chris Howard,
Yes.
Cameron Austin,
Yes.
Haley Zinsmaster,
Yes.
Scott Peedy,
Yes.
Susie Walmsley,
Yes.
Dave Morris.
We are returned. Have a great night.